And we're back. Game number 2, what could be our final game of the day as EG squares off against RoX.KIS here in our second round matchup in the upper bracket. So a lot on the line. One of these teams will be falling down into the lower bracket, playing that out over the next couple of days. But RoX, I mean, they put up a hell of a fight in game 1, but EG just able to take it late, which is where they're comfortable, certainly with Arteezy on the PA, and they secure the win there. And RoX, I mean, again, the story is technically they're not even RoX, so we kind of bounce back and forth. Sometimes we call them RoX for brevity's sake. Sometimes we call them Team Gold Black, ex-RoX, whatever. It's still the same 5 players. They did fail to qualify for TI, but nonetheless, we know how talented this core squad can be, and EG can expect to be put to the test, especially now that it's a Game 2 situation. They look to close the door as well. I'm your host there in EC Chambers, joined by Trout for the insight and analysis. Taking a look at RoX, they go right back to the tree in the Marana. They get a Weaver this time to help shore up some damage issues they seem to have down the stretch in Game 1. EG, though, they pick up a Brew and a Bat.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they're able to get offered that. Like, Bat is a first-tier pick. It seems right now in the metagame, Panda has been a first-tier pick, and they get both of them. But as I briefly talked about as we saw it, I don't know if I've ever seen EG run Brew. It certainly doesn't seem like an Arteezy hero right when I look at it. So I'm wondering, do they run it as a 1 for Mason? Like I said, it just doesn't look like an Arteezy hero. So I'm very curious to see how they run that, where they lane it, etc. But obviously, Bat Rider for Universe, he'll be comfortable with that.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the same stuff here for RoX.KIS is the Treant and the Marana. This time Weaver, it's another core, kind of similar in the sense to Viper in that it's a range hero. You can solo him if you want. Does some decent damage. Has a little bit better time in the late game, and also maneuvers quite well. Very good against Brewmaster, I should say. It's difficult for Brewmaster to really lock him down with the Invis. Although if you do get a gem in the mid game, it's very fantastic on Brew. So we'll maybe see if EG does that. EG, going back to a Vengeful Spear pick, had some success with him last game. Honestly, I don't feel like he was the biggest factor last game. I think it was mostly the THD of all heroes for support.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, Arteezy. But we're going with it again. Some good auras and all that. I think, if anything, it was the swap that was the most important spell out of all of them. He was able to save Arteezy a number of times.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, he wasn't as visceral an impact hero, I don't think, as PPD seemed to be. Played a great Jakiro. But there were so many little plays that he made just to change the positioning in fights, not just of Arteezy, but of himself, and just to create positive situations for EG. And definitely think Zai got the job done, and he'll be looking to replicate that success here in Game 2. Back to the Brew, that's one of the cool things about the hero, and why he is so sought after is he does benefit the most from mid above anything else and anywhere else, but at the same time, he can do some kind of wonky stuff. You can put him in duo lanes, and he functions well there. He can be run off lane in the right situation. EG will be on Radiant, so they do have that advantage if they wanted to do that. Chances are it's going to be Bad Rider there, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, this is another, again, thin lineup coming out from RoX.KIS. They do have a little bit more late game they can rely on with Marana and the Weaver this time around. Shadow Demon will be a nice setup artist for Marana's Sacred Arrow, and of course, just an excellent hero in general against Bad Rider in particular, being able to disrupt, to just tear apart a lasso combination or something like that. So I like the draft that they've put together, but again, I feel like they are going to be on the gun a little bit. They will be comfortable going late in a pure farm fest, but it's just their lineup is not the most survivable in terms of pure HP. They're really survivable because of maneuverability. Marana's Sleep, Weaver's Time-Lapse, I think it's Lincoln's, and so on. EG, though, this is just another lineup that just has a lot of punching power, especially if the Brewmaster is well-leveled. Bat finds at level 6, and now Jakiro. This is a team that wants to fight and will go fight early on.
Do you remember who had first pick? Was it RoX.KIS? Because I'm wondering why. It had to have been because I don't know why EG would ban out Doom if they weren't first pick. Maybe they were first.
No, RoX had first.
Okay. So, well, I guess they could have gone either way. But anyway, yeah, Doom was banned out. They're going again with this Vengeful and Jakiro dual support strat. Maybe there's something to, like, just, it's not really an aura, but it makes you, like, fight against heroes that want to do DPS. Like, okay, you have extra DPS for yourself, but then you also cut down their DPS with negative attack speed and stuff from the Liquid Fire, which seems to be the popular build on Jakiro these days.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it helps you pushing towers, so more damage for your heroes to push towers, and then direct damage from the Liquid Fire on the towers as well. Maybe that's their thinking. I'm still curious to see if it's Arteezy mid on Brewmaster. Obviously, that makes the most sense. You know, they have been scrimming a lot more now with them being boot camping. I think they're in Sweden. I'm not sure.
I want to say it's Germany.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I think you're right.
Yep.
I just saw some tweets from Charlie about Sweden, so that's what I thought. But anyway, maybe they're trying stuff out. I do know that they're very good about trying new things out. So we'll have to see if RTZ takes that up.
Yeah, and this is just like, I don't know, like, this seems like a fairly prototypical kind of a Gold Black draft. I mean, it's, again, you've got the interactions between Mirana and Shadow Demon. We touched on that. Weaver can play ultra aggressive early on just because of the power of living armor so long as they don't fall behind early. And that's, again, it's the exact same situation as before. So long as they stay adequately leveled, they're going to have a lot of punching power. Now they add a lot of magic burst coming out of Skywrath, a lot of spammable abilities. And it's actually a pretty smart pickup against this lineup in particular. You get the silence to deal with the Brewmaster in specific. But even aside from that, you don't have heroes that are going to usually build BKBs. Batrider will get one, but usually it's sort of an afterthought.
Yeah.
And so, like, other than that, there just aren't many natural BKB holders here, including the Brewmaster. So he's going to be particularly susceptible to that. And this is a game now, based on the draft that we see, with the Venge, the Jakiro, the Bat, and the Brew. Brew does have a bit of a shelf life. I mean, if he gets super far ahead, he can still be very effective in the late stages. But assuming it's just going to be a fairly standard, even above average game, he does begin to fall off late. So we need to see what they want to run as that really late game core, because they're up against two great late game cores in the Mirana and the Weaver now. And wow. Okay.
I think it's going to be a one-position Brew.
Yep.
So RTZ in the mid. If they get, like, one support to just kind of lane for a second for Skywrath Mage in mid, I feel like TA is going to get completely shut down. But it seems like RTZ gets a decent amount of help in mid. So if they want to shut RTZ down, I say they do it right away. Like, don't give him the ability to come back, because if he has a good start, gets up a good bottle, gets level 3 with level 2 refraction, then the effect of this amazing solo hero of Skywrath Mage isn't felt as strongly unless you give him a bit of an edge in the beginning. I think it's worth it to send someone there just to help him from level 1 to 2. But again, you're going up now against a tri-lane. This is Panda, THD, or Jakiro, and Venge. Honestly, not that strong. Like, they have good abilities, but they're very, like, they lack range. Like, THD's attack range is kind of bad. Same with Venge. Obviously, it's a melee hero for Panda. And depending on who they throw down there, it's probably going to be, this tri-lane right here. Very, very strong. We've seen this tri-lane so many times. But it's going to be dodged. Now that I wasn't even looking at the EG's side, but yeah, it's going to be dodged.
That was actually going to be my follow-up. You had talked about this in a previous draft. One of the strengths EG really has is their ability to anticipate what other teams are going to do, both through just logic, being able to look and figure out what's only really going to be your options or what the most likely options are going to be, but also just through homework and understanding how certain teams like to lane, like to draft, and so on. But yeah, they're dodging this hard. They've got Universe down in the safe lane, the O-Try of Gold Black, Yul, and BZZ, Mirana, Shadow Demon, and Tree. Very, very deadly, but it's not something you're going to have to worry about, at least right off the bat. They've got PPD and Zai hanging out towards mid. Of course, RTZ will be taking the TA on into mid, while Mason is going to be taking the Brew out into the offlane along with his supporting cast.
Hastrun does spawn bottom. It seems like the team that has Tree always gets like a haste or a DD at the beginning. But they actually might utilize this to get a gank and kill in mid. Some smokes up from Zai and PPD. This is what I talk about. They anticipate it, and they look for opportunities elsewhere. This is going to be an interesting clash, because they're going to go pretty much at the same time. And you're going to see Solo be very, very aggressive. Here comes the backstab. Solo might die. Yep.
That's a magic missile. Dual breath to follow. RTZ right there doing good damage. There's a disruption, though, and that haste rune coming into play. RTZ ends up being first blood himself. Solo still alive, now takes the spill. But Yul able to haste his way back to safety. And, of course, Gold Black hustling and bustling with those brown boots. And, yeah, that we heard him pick up the haste. I honestly didn't think he would react quick enough for it to be a factor. Damn well was, as they turn that around completely. First blood goes the way of ex-RoX.
Yeah, nicely done. It was definitely worth it. I mean, obviously first blood for not first blood. So, and you're going to have a humongous creep wave here coming from Solo. But this, I can't talk. The refractions are so nice as far as getting denies and last hits, even against an amazing solo hero like Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, we can see him playing very
he's missing
aggressive.
A lot. He's missed so many CS here. I've been watching him this whole time, and it's hard for him, but he really should be missing these.
RTZ being zoned out a bit by Gold Black, who is, by the way, dragging a whole damn creep wave with him. And RTZ will go ahead and use a refraction and double on back around as Gold Black, the Pied Piper of the green creeps, brings him back on into lane as well. Up at top, it's going to be Sadoy going 1-on-3 here. And so far, he's got 1 CS, and not the best in the world. Mason is off to a great start. 8 CS to lead this game off.
Yeah, Zai's trying to be a little bit cheeky here. He ate his way into the trees just so he can have one more to eat. Has a sentry right outside the tower. It's very, very close to being in vision of the tower, I think. But he's trying to find this opening onto Weaver. Honestly, even if he finds it, it'll be close.
Yep.
It will be close because the damage from THD is actually really bad early on. And Mason's only level 2.
Rest of the map, relatively quiet for the moment. We'll check in back in mid momentarily. Looks like Solo has picked up a bit on his CS. Like you said, he's at 6 now. Was struggling maybe a little bit earlier. Arteezy finds himself an invis rune, no bottle in which to put it, so has to activate it immediately. We'll move on up into lane. He's got help from Goldblack. Solo does, I should say. And yeah, what do you make of the laning phase so far? Do you think has the innate advantage?
I think that actually RoX.KIS is doing quite well. Like, Skywrath should be having a little bit of a better time here than Arteezy in mid. They're not killing Weaver, and they're wasting basically the support's time. They're now pulling now. This is really good for EG. They need the extra experience in farm because they're not really getting kills, so they have to supplement it somehow. But if they don't get kills and they're not pulling that constantly, then they're kind of coming behind. Goblak's in a nice position. Here we go, Sadoi. He will Sakuchi away and we'll be fine. So, yeah, I would say early on this is definitely favoring RoX.
RoX.KIS getting the job done, stands at 1-1. Let's talk about Arteezy for a minute on this TA. How do you think he's going to end up building this? You think he's going to go straight up Midas?
Oh boy, I've seen him do so many different things.
Me too.
But it would seem like Midas just fits him so well.
Yeah.
Midas, treads, drums, Manta, things like that. He likes fighting builds. I don't think he normally goes for like base blink. That's not usually his style.
And they're going to continue to chase him down. PBD in trouble now. There's a magic missile and an ice path. PBD taking a lot of damage. Sadoi will go ahead and Sakuchi and secure that kill. Behind that, though, they trade away Tree. Zai's in trouble. Yol's there, dragging a lot of creeps. Mason's got an eye on him. There's a disruption. Zai, in the meantime, still being pursued by Sadoi. Mason comes out, does not decide to try to pursue out and help him. Zai doubles back around, has 5 magic stick charges, gets hit with the Soul Catcher. And here comes Mason to try and run a little bit of interference. Sadoi is going to go ahead and output a little bit of right click, and that should be sufficient to scare him away. So they go even once again, make it 2-2.
Oh, nice. The DD was denied there by Yol instead of just grabbing it.
Oh.
He could actually maybe do some damage. He's got a Soul Catcher. These illusions are actually not going to do too bad of damage here. But Goblak runs the opposite way, nicely juked there by Zai. I don't know if that was intentional, but he's got boots. He's also got 8 charges on his wand, so never mind. He's more than fine. But it was a nice little play attempt there by the Disruptor.
So aggravating when that Ice Ghost comes down. Hold on. Sadoi caught under his own tower.
There it is.
Yep, hit with the magic missile, the ice path, and of course the clap to finish it out. That's not something you want to have happen, but that sentry well placed and well played as EG takes a little bit of a lead now. Goldblack hanging around, can't do a whole lot to save the tower by himself. Finally a TP coming back in. And they're going to end up having it down to about half, but it is a tree, so he certainly will be able to heal it back up once that creep wave pushes out a little bit. Haven't talked a whole lot about BZZ, but BZZ currently sitting atop the overall CS board. 31-16 for him. He has largely had this lane all to himself.
Yeah, it actually makes me wonder why he's not maybe pressuring it. He's got his ring off this whole time. I feel like my general rule of thumb is like, if no one's in the lane, don't, like, especially early on, just push it. Like, at least pressure to grab someone down there and maybe waste their time a little bit. But especially in the off lane, like, I don't know. I feel like getting that tower is much more important.
Arteezy disrupted in mid. Solo's right there. He does have Mystic Flare. Has to wait for the refraction to wear off. Not going to be able to chase him down, though. Looks like they wanted to maybe try to set that up. Refraction just too much of a deterrent. And Arteezy, even though he did get dusted, able to make it away to safety quite easily. Taking a look at Yol, he's level 3, has been doing a lot of roaming around, has covered a lot of ground trying to pressure these lanes. Now going to be left alone a little bit in mid. Looks like Solo is going to go ahead and pre-rune at 6. Heard a nice path shot just north of him. Doesn't look like it caught anyone. That rune will be bottom, an illusion.
Yeah, Universe is actually farming very, very well, starting out from the jungle, basically. Comes down now after a little bit of pressure. So good play by him. He's about only 1,000, no, less than 1,000 gold away. Here comes an arrow. It actually does hit Universe. I don't think there's too much damage here from BZZ. Gets the double starfall proc. He's going to have to go all in for this. There we go. One more auto attack, the extra attack speed from the leap. And he does get the kill on a Universe. Nicely played.
Managing to catch him there in the jungle. And a very fortuitous kill for him, slowing Universe down. There's another disruption onto Arteezy in mid. Mystic Flare used, but bit of a waste that time. Now check that. He got just enough done that they may be able to follow it up with the spam, and they do. The dust was there, and that's a big kill because Arteezy does seem to be going for Midas. Has up his Glove of Haste. Actually finished out his Wand as well. And, yeah, nice play. And it looks like, honestly, I like the way RoX is playing this game out. This is what we were talking about. Like, you draft a certain way, a certain composition that has to accomplish a certain set of goals when they're strongest, which is the laning phase. And for the most part, they've done that.
Yeah, I think that RTZ is still doing fine despite that death there. Like, look at his CS. It's 32-11 against the Skywrath. It's really one of the better, if not the best solo hero in the game. It's very, very scary to go against. Just using Refraction, using that extra damage to get in and get out with those last hits, and then maybe get a rune if he can, or Bottle Crow, which he's probably been doing. So he's actually not doing too bad. The CS is all really going in favor of EG, except for BZZ. He's doing very well himself. But yeah, he's been bottom all by himself for so long. Also, I'm so stupid. I didn't realize this as hold that thought because we might have an engagement up top.
Here we go. Yol spots out PPD. There's the disruption. Sudoi moving out. There's the arrow on the mark. Shot through the woods, and they will be able to pick him off because of it. Sudoi took a bit of damage there, and they've put everyone up.
5 heroes.
Yeah, it looks like they're ready to push. This is going to free up this mid lane for Arteezy, though. And that makes this something that needs to bear very sweet fruit. Solo might break off and head on back. He may just go ahead and look for the 8-minute rune. Won't find it at top. It's a regen at bottom.
Yeah, I don't know. They're really going to have to get this tower. If they spend 5 heroes up here to do so and they don't get it, it's going to be really bad. Solo, he's caught in a bad spot. Do they have detection on somebody's eye? He doesn't. So he will be fine. Even Peeper Pan. Oh, boy. Peeper Pan Dam does not have detection either. So they get the tower top. Hopefully, that for their sake, they can walk here in mid and get this. They don't have the glyph available, though. So Solo, here comes a TP, though, to just kind of make him back up just a little bit. Ice Path on the mark. Here we go. Yo, with the disruption, possibly.
Running him down. Arteezy using Refraction to escape. There's going to be a disruption. That'll be on Sudoi. Arrow does connect from the low ground. PPD in trouble. Brought down because of it. And no way RoX is going to make the mistake of not capitalizing on the momentum they've built this time around. Arteezy can do very little, but watch on. Still has a ways to go for that Midas. And this is, well, you know, the big question mark to me, and always has been, about TA and the Midas build. It pays dividends 10, 15 minutes later. But until then, you wind up in situations like this where you just can't play the hero the way she usually likes to be played.
Yeah, and I'm actually, to be honest, not that great of a TA player. I think she takes some finesse, but whenever I see players go for Midas, it always seems to work out for me. Like, I don't know why, but I just think the extra levels into everything just really help, particularly Templar Assassin. So I think it'll still be fine, but obviously this aggression isn't helping her that much. But really, I think what I was going to say is that the key to that tower push top was really smart because they predicted that the blink wasn't coming out from Universe just yet. And so they wanted to get those towers while they could, because when he has the blink, it makes it that much more difficult. And speaking of, he actually has it with Tranquils and a smoke and a TP sub 10 minutes. That's actually very impressive.
Right now, they have pulled back just for a minute, regrouping a little bit. Like you said, the item progression looking pretty solid. Mason has completed a blink dagger now. And take a look at Universe. Yeah, Universe has his blink up too. And here in mid, looks like we could have the makings of a fight. Mason is yet to use Split. Down at bottom, we can see Gold Black keeping an eye on a haste rune. There's going to be a TP down the bottom from EG, so trying to go with the flow. Arrow barely misses Zai. There's Universe, though, ready with the lasso. Magic missiles at the ready. There you go. Little over-aggressive. And BZZ gives one away for free that time. EG holding serve and continuing to buy themselves a little bit of time. Looking ahead, if this goes ultra late, who do you like the most?
Ultra late?
45 plus.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I would still say EG because I think Batrider is so good late game.
Yeah.
Like, he's so good. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, Weaver's still a force to be reckoned with in the late game, but I think a lot of the other heroes kind of fall off. Like, Tree's not that good against the Jakiro's Liquid Fire, for instance. It's one of the reasons why I was going to go back to why they pick up THD against the Treant. It's very, very good. And I think TA, I just think Arteezy, what he was first known for in NA Dota was his TA. Like, this was his hero. He played it like every single game. He understands it in and out. And but yeah, that coupled with the fact I think Batrider is just so good late game. Even Venge is honestly really good late game when you get the items in the level 3 swap. So I would, yeah, in long, I'd have to answer you with I think EG has the better late game.
All right. Is it so much better or just better?
It's better.
All right, here we go. PPD and a lot of damage from Mystic Flare. The spam is there. Mason might make him pay for it, though. PPD will die behind that. There's the split. They're going to go ahead and focus down Solo. They do manage to get the toss on the BZZ. He's up in the air and coming down to a world of pain. And they're going to try to... Universe actually eating a lot of damage from Sidoi right now. Using the sticky napalm to slow things down a bit is nice. Sidesteps very nicely that arrow. Mason not done, even though he's reassembled. There's a swap from Zai. What a play.
Nicely played.
Swaps and closes the distance to get that stun. Arteezy in the meantime in mid could be in some trouble. Did a bit of damage to Yol and Goldblack. It would seem going to bottle up as he moves back to the high ground. Sidoi even made an appearance trying to track him down, but unable to do so. And now there's an Ice Plat that'll catch Sidoi. Do they have the burst? He has time lapse. If he needs it, will not use it. And instead just retreat and via foot back to the tier 1. Now the TPN, that's going to be Solo, immediately comes out firing. And Zai, jeez, taking a huge chunk out of him just with those couple of abilities. The magic missile and concussive shot, just so strong.
Yeah, he didn't even use... I think if he used the ultimate, he actually kills him right away, but...
Arcane Bolt, not magic missile. I don't know why I always want to call it magic missile, even though that's...
I do too, but yeah. I just think that, like, here we go. Sidoi.
Lasso on the Sidoi. He's slowed down. There's the big ulti from the Skywrath. Damage, very nice swap again from Zai. Is it enough? Yes, he will be able to survive through all that. In the meantime, Arteezy getting a little too... Oh, what an ice path. And the flame break, however, that last Arcane Bolt will clean him up. And Goldblack and company not backing off for a moment. Jeez. The amount of damage output they have, and not just that they have, but they can sustain for 5, 10, 15 seconds is just absolutely immense. And a couple of big plays there. Looked like it was going to be enough to bail out Arteezy and Zai, but not the case. This tier 1 mid going to be the next to drop. This will be the last of the remaining tier 1s if they do manage to get it.
Zai is playing with fire. Like, he's been doing this the whole time he's playing with fire. Oh, man. If he gets to the Dahani, though, he's going to be a big player. Oh, I think he can get it because it's going down slowly to auto-attack. Yep, he got it!
What a player!
They were attacking it so slowly that it actually made the timing really easy for them, or for Zai. So, nice play there by Zai. Despite him being in, like, death range of 250 HP.
Oh, man.
He actually gets a very important deny. That's a lot of gold, especially when, yeah, they're pushing towers and they're getting map control, but their CS is so low compared to all the members of EG. I actually always have that up for so long, but it's 75, 71, 71 compared to like 58, 50, and 40.
Yep. Uh-oh, Universe might get eyes on, yep, spot Solo, and gonna grab him. He's super low, too. Immediately uses the Moonlight Shadow. Let's see if they can guess where he is. Behind that, though, the fight breaks out. We're going to see Yol and BZZ moving up from the high ground. PPD caught with an arrow. There's going to be a side trap that slows BZZ as he's on the high ground. Below that, though, PPD gets off one last ice path. Looks like Sidoi will be able to make it away. And
I don't know why he didn't go for that kill. He had time lapse up too.
He had like 3 HP. Had to have had like 3 HP, no more.
Yeah, I don't know why he went for just one more auto. He could have like ran fast enough past them, auto attacked, and then time lapsed immediately to kind of disjoint the, the spell casting of EG. I feel like he should have gone for that, but nonetheless, he doesn't. He takes a safer route, and he will be okay. Oh, nice disruption there to counter Zai's stun. And there's the concussive shot, Zai. He could be launched.
Mason swapped in, and Mason. All right. I think he planned. I think Mason wasn't ready.
He blinked at the same time of Zai's swap, and it kind of screwed him up. And then I think the silence happened at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly sure, but nonetheless, he wasn't ready for that. Some miscommunication. Oh boy.
I was thinking.
3-2-2
I was thinking he swapped him, assuming he would just split immediately.
I actually thought that was going to happen too, but he blinked at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff.
Oh well, a little bit of a miscommunication, and it cost them too. ex-RoX.KIS looking to tie this series up and on a great path to do so. Arteezy spotted out in the woods. They don't have a way to stop the TP, so he will make it back to safety. 4 staff done on Solo now, so a little bit more mobility for him. And overall, the item progression looking quite good in general. Sidoi already has up his first ulti orb. See, the drums are done on Mirana. Drums, Aqualade, Wand, and Phase, just so well-rounded a build for him. And Goldblack, I haven't even checked out. Yeah,
he's almost got Blink.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably working on Blink, and he's damn close, about 200, 300 gold.
Yeah, it's really good against Universe, especially. Like, getting him, if you can Blink quickly and stop his combo with the 4 staff and everything, it's very effective. Here go possible damage. Oh, a big whiffed ulti there from Solo. He does have a 4 staff. Nice for him. Arrow off the mark. Ooh, he gets him out right in time. Universe can't connect with the ultimate. Really, really close. Good plays here all around. Except for that ultimate from Skywrath. That was pretty bad. But yeah, it's actually a low cooldown. You can afford to just throw them out there.
Well, the mana cost is pretty gigantic.
That is true. God, that is true. So much.
Even if you have arc boots in a bottle, it's still really tough to maintain a mana pool if you blow Mystic Flare for no reason. So, yeah, he'll be waiting to regen a bit. He is in pretty good shape.
But he does have a 4-step, which is like core on Skywrath, I think.
Yeah,
because he does so much damage, but if you get caught, and he's got such low HP. He's actually sub 1,000 HP.
He's already back to full, so not going to be something he's going to lose sleep over tonight, I don't think, win, lose, or draw. Taking a look at the gold graph, we're at 17 minutes in, and we can see it's a tight one. Less than 500 separating the two teams in terms of gold, less than 2,000 experience overall. There's going to be a Moonlight Shadow. It looks like the target is going to be Zai. Zai spotted by Sadoy.
He needs to TP like right now.
I don't think he's gonna. Up, spotted by the creeps. And certainly taking their time. Wow, Universe actually just managed to get a kill elsewhere. Now Zai is going to be disrupted out of that, so they should be able, good arrow, able to bring him down.
For their sake, they need to get bottom right now or just start pushing mid, but those towers are already dead, so this is going to be actually a pretty big win here for EG, considering they already got the solo hero in solo on the Skywrath, and they're going to get this tower bottom, so nice exchange in favor of EG right there.
Yep. Didn't see how solo died. Did you ever came around?
No, I was watching top as well.
Yep. But anyway, Universe got the kill, so I would imagine, Lasso's on cooldown, so doesn't take rocket surgery.
Oh, but by the way, it's a Midas on Treant. I would have never have guessed that in a million years, but apparently Godblock wants to carry this game himself.
Hey, Radiance.
Golden Glove.
Radiance. Solo. Going to be engaged upon after the Ice Path. He's going to be force-staffed kind of back to safety. There's the Rock to chase him down. Let's see how much they want to commit to it. Behind that, the fight rages. Goldblack looking for an overgrowth, going to catch Arteezy with it, as well as one of the Spirit Pandas. Arteezy ends up taking a biff behind that. They still didn't manage to chase down Solo either. Solo actually in great shape, being helped out by the Living Armor. And
nice ulti.
EG is in some trouble. They're going to lose 2 here. And the tower still stands, just outside of deny range. So overcommitting, a little overzealous that time from Mason in particular, I think.
Well, that was a fantastic ulti by Solo, actually. He timed it so right as the Earth Panda was going, because they knew that he was going to just spam Blink. You're spamming Blink, spamming Blink. You need to get away, but you can't really do that against that constant damage coming out from the ulti. There was no other spell that could have done that unless you perfectly timed like a poison from Yul, but he actually used it a little bit before, so very nicely played by Solo. Also, yeah, when he was pursuing Solo for so long, the base movement speed of Skywrath, which was buffed not too long ago, actually played a role in that little engagement there. So.
Oh yeah, he hustles. Roshan takes a spill for the first time, 19 minutes, 25 seconds into the game. And that's going to be an Aegis going to Solo. And even though these last couple of fights have seemed to favor RoX so heavily, keep in mind, technically EG still in the lead. They lost a little bit of ground there, but it is still a very tight game. Damn near 0 for experience and right at 500 separating the teams still yet. It's been kind of an EKG kind of game, up and down and up and down. But still very tight as we come up to 20 minutes in. They do manage to go ahead and take a tier 1 at the same time, too.
Yep, I think that Goldblack's focus of Living Armor was mainly on the mid tower because that top tower was low HP for quite some time. So easy pickings for EG. And yeah, things are going kind of even here, even though the score says 8-14. But it's just simply because EG's just, they're farming better. Like, they're not running around trying to get kills. They're just sitting back farming, letting the fights come to them. And it's working sometimes, but yeah. There's a Mask of Madness actually up onto the Batrider.
Love the Mask of Madness on the bat. A little extra movement speed. Ultra race car build. I wouldn't even call it race car. It's more like flying speed booster. Something like that. Imagine an airplane with nitrous on it, because that makes sense. But, yeah, I mean, I still feel like RoX needs to continue to press here. Skywrath just, at some point, is going to fall off. He's in pretty good shape right now. When you look at the overall levels, he's not as high as I think he would like. He's sitting at level 11. Given the game he's had, he's 4-3, so he's on the positive side of the KD. Still feels like he should be a little further ahead. And, of course, the Midas on the TA is one reason she's right there in the mix. But so is everyone else. Everyone on EG is pretty damn high level. They only have one that's level 9 right now, and that's PPD. We're going to have Universe spotting out Yul. Had the sentry down. Let's see. Yep, there's the dust. Big kill if they can get it, and they will.
That's a big streak, too. Mason, in the meantime, dies to the Skywrath, who uses his silence to really make it easy for them. So definitely a favorite. Well, I don't know, because I got a streak, actually, off the Shadow Demon, who, by the way, before that was 5-0-6. Kind of insane, but nice performance from Yul. But I don't know, it's kind of an even exchange, honestly, because I got that streak.
Here comes Sadoy, maybe looking to take a run at Zai. Zai has help nearby, though. And, yep, just going to trade right clicks with him for a little bit. Zai going toe-to-toe, and the Ice Path misses by just a smidge in mid. They continue to put a little bit of pressure on, but finally do decide to go ahead and back off. This is freeing up some time for Arteezy, though. Arteezy has gone BKB first, now engaged by Solo. Refraction, though, makes that not so much a threat. But, yeah, I feel like Arteezy is actually getting dangerously close into coming into his own again.
He is. I mean, he's died a lot, but he's really prioritizing farm. So if you kill me, you're wasting a lot of time, whereas I'm actually farming more. So yeah, I like his items. It's just he's been doing this a lot more, and it's not so much defensive. It's more of actually aggressive. Like I get BKB so that I can fight,
right?
Not so like I'm scared of dying. It's so I can fight and get in your face.
Well, so far the map remaining a little bit quiet for the moment. It's 15-9, and just keep referring to the gold graph. EG is actually grinding out a small efficiency lead. The experience is negligible. Tell you the truth, the gold is too. Zai teleports in the face of Sadoy, so not liking the way that felt. Sadoy is very, very close now to nope, check that. Just finished his Lincoln, so I was going to say he's very close, but didn't even realize how close. Had the recipe on the courier. And yeah, I mean, while we hang on. Universe hit with an arrow here in mid, and that's a free one for B. Oh! Turns it around, and Mason's there.
He can blink away afterwards.
Yes, there you go. And he uses a split as well. BZZ caught with the rock. Has help from Yol. Let's see if they really want to pursue this out. Yeah, don't think that the split was actually all that warranted. And if we're honest, man, I don't feel like Mason has really had as big an impact on this brew as you would usually want.
Yeah, I don't think the split. I think he could have just gone away by lassoing, running away, waiting for the blink cooldown. It's only 3 seconds, and then just blinking away. But I think he wanted to try to get the kill, honestly. What you can do is like time it so that when he tries to leap, you use the Yules. Oh, here we go with a Potom ulti, possibly up on the top. They pinged out Gray there though. Solo, he was pinged out by EG. They have a ward up there, so they know. Yeah, look at them. They're just sitting back in their base, so they know something's up, and they do not want to fight right now with the Panda ult being down. But yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, I don't think that he's really done enough. And this just comes back to like we haven't seen them ever. I've never seen EG run the Brewmaster, and it's traditionally a mid hero. You get extra levels that way.
Up Zai in trouble under his own tier 2 and cleaned up without any reprisal from EG. So yeah, Zai's having a bit of a rough one if we're honest. He is
rough day actually.
0-3-7 right now.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he had kind of a rough game last game too. He's basically like just trying to farm this game. Like I've seen him up in this top lane just farming for the last literally 10 minutes. But it's kind of got the best of him now. Here comes the smoke. Aegis is reclaimed in 50 seconds. They want to fight with this as it's still on. Who is it on actually? Who has the Aegis? Oh, it's on the Skywrath.
Yeah, Mason caught with an arrow. Mystic Flare to follow, and he is down. And the Brewmaster pick not really working out all that well for EG. They are putting some pressure on the mid, and again, this is where that tree pick comes into play so much. Is if you end up losing map control, it's so hard to ever play catch up unless you just take a gigantic fight because of the power of living armor. Solo, Yol, BZZ pecking away at the tier 2 top. Just Zai there throwing out the armor reduction to try to stem the tide. But yeah, they're ready to begin pushing tier 3s before long. Only one outer tier tower remains. That's tier 2 bottom.
Yeah, and it looks like Morana's going to go for a Manta this time to try to get out of, I guess, slows. There's not really much else to get out of. It kind of disjoints. Honestly, if if Bat blinks in and you Manta, it kind of makes you second-guess yourself, and you don't want to, like, obviously ulti an illusion. So it's actually kind of good against Bat in that sense. Not to mention, it's just an overall good item to have to disjoint stuff and whatnot. So, yeah, I approve of that. I think that's really good for Morana, and Aegis will be expired. I think it already has, yeah. So maybe they look to push out lanes, look for the next Roshan to secure that. And Mech is up now onto Godblack. This Midas is now paying off because he's had it, and they're still winning fights and not getting trampled over. He's still healing his towers, keeping that tier 1 in mid alive. So the Midas is actually paying for itself quite nicely here for Godblack.
Very much agree. Solo looks to be going for an F-Blade build. No, check that. I don't know, actually. He's picked up the Ghost Scepter and was thinking he was going to go straight F-Blade, but he's got a point booster there as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Universe takes a bit of damage, but does manage to scurry to safety. Both teams beginning to play very gun-shy now. Basically, we're only seeing ex-RoX.KIS really want to fight whenever they're under smoke or they're under Moonlight Shadow. We're not seeing nearly as much roaming and target firing out of EG. And Arteezy now with the Deso done, there has to come a point where he just has to get active, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not the biggest TA player, but I feel like he should be confident enough in his abilities. I know he knows this hero in and out. Even if he's not like the typical, like very, very late game hero, his burst is definitely there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's always really huge. He does have the Deso too, so lots of negative armor coming out. Not to mention the negative armor coming out from Zai as well, who has 4 levels now into the Wave of Terror. So that's going to work well and nicely together. He also has a 4 staff he just bought.
Panda just finished his Scepter as well, so Mason ready to go with the Aghanim's. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally on board. And the problem that he's going to run into is, okay, let's say he gets his perfect amount of items or whatever. Weaver and Mirana are going to be further ahead. Mirana has that Manta, as you'd already said. Weaver is most likely now working on, one would imagine, a Desolator. Could go BKB if he really wants to go super defensive. Don't think he even needs to, though.
I still think BKB could be good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, all the physical damage does go through from TA, but you don't want to get caught in Ice Pass for 2 seconds or whatever it is, 2.2, and then the stun. Like, I still think it's pretty effective here.
Here we go.
In trouble.
Pursued out. There's going to be Universe at the lasso, though. BZZ takes a spill. Overgrowth a little late from Gold Black, and the follow-up. This is what they so desperately needed. Lincoln's popped, but they're ready to go ahead and finish off this tier 2 now. And actually, they may just go ahead and try to grab Yol. Yep, there's the magic missile. The follow-up with the big meld. Sentry Ward goes down to deter Weaver from trying to come back out and fight it out. That's going to be the first tier 2 brought down by EG thus far. And it looks like they may go ahead and push even. They know where Solo is. They see him. They're pinging it out, it seems. And yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for it. Solo doesn't have a TP. That's what they're pinging.
He canceled it up top because he couldn't TP into that. He would have just died.
Oh, man. So he has to hoof it back. There's a buyback out of BZZ and the tree, but they still lose the tier 3. So what a disaster coming out of HyperX. There's going to be an ice path to catch a Sidoi and Solo. Do they want to engage? Hell yeah, they do. Going to work and bringing down the Sky Raft. There's a time lapse. Is that enough to get Sidoi back to safety? Split from Mason. They're going to chase them all the way back up to the high ground. Universe leading the way. Looks like BZZ will be able to make it away, but there's a swap from Zai on the low ground. Sidoi, not so lucky. He dies, and Gold Black next on the list. Arrow has no effect. Down goes the tree. Up goes Mirana. And Arteezy finally putting all that time, effort, gold, and experience to use with a double kill. Is going to end up dying there, but in the end, well worth the time and the effort so long as the rest of his team could go ahead and retreat. Big wins across the board, cost him a lot of buybacks to even keep this alive. And Mason's not done. Moves in, hits a clap, Zai's right there with him. Yeah, it looks like they don't want to back off. And why would they? EG going to work now on that ranged rack. Sidoi can't do much but throw out the swarm. There's going to be a TPN. Mason needs to get out right about now. Arrow connects on Universe down on the low ground. This may be a payback. Beautiful ice path and swap from Zai and PPD, though. PPD makes it away. Universe makes it home. And so, no, Zai. Yeah, Zai came very close. Very, very close. Cut it as close as he could have, but still. Big win for EG across the board. The buybacks alone buy time for Arteezy to get further and further ahead.
Well, thank God for HyperX sake that they actually got those final 2 kills. Yeah. I literally thought that they were both going to TP out and get away. I've seen that so many times with EG where they're like, where they have synchronized TPs in the face of multiple members of the opposite team, and they still get alive, but not that case. So could have been way worse for HyperX, but it was still pretty bad. I mean, that's what I was just talking about. Arteezy, we were scared for a moment because he wasn't getting that active. He does go blink now just to close the distance.
Yep.
But you see the damage output from him. It's absolutely insane when you have Venge around you, because you have the extra damage, and then you have the negative armor. It's 6 negative armor from his Wave of Terror in an AoE. So yeah, you have to respect that. It's just very difficult to fight against. He was just chunking Weaver for like 1/5 of his HP every attack. Roshan does go down for HyperX. It's a step in the right direction.
Roche, the return. The reward, I guess, probably the better way to say it, for, as you said, HyperX being able to at least salvage something out of that catastrophe at top lane. Solo having to cancel his TP, big deal. They lost the tier 3 because of that, and eventually, of course, lost that top racks. But EG should be feeling pretty good. We can see they spiked up to damn near 7,500 gold lead at one point. Same with about the experience. That Roshan plus the return kills that HyperX was able to notch do bring it down a bit closer to 5K, but remember, they did have buybacks as well. The buybacks in and of themselves are kind of a big deal in that regard.
Well, also, too, those last 2 kills were both by Sidoi, the Weaver, who's like their big carry of this game, and he got a wicked 6 streak from Universe. So it was actually a very large sum of gold. He did finish his Deso, as you were alluding to, and I think that's actually better now because they do have the Aegis on top of that. So he needs to pressure and create some kind of pressure onto EG, because right now EG just doesn't feel scared of any kind of damage output from RoX.KIS. Like, they really don't feel scared.
Well, they're all grouped up and look like they're spoiling for a fight. At bottom, it's PPD and Arteezy running right with each other. And yeah, they will go ahead and cross the river. Ready to take a run into Radiant territory, perhaps. At bottom, looks like they just want to split push it. And the push power Arteezy brings to bear is actually remarkable. And that'll force RoX.KIS to go ahead and collapse down to that lane. And, of course, Living Arm are going to keep the tower in just fine shape. But EG continuing to buy time and still stand by, given the way things have gone, the fact that EG has the superior late-game composition.
Oh, are you asking me, do I think so? Do they have it? I like, what do you have? Okay, again with the boxes. No, I won't do it. I'll just say that I think it's a little bit better.
Right.
But Brew does kind of fall off in the late game.
Right.
And to be honest, his early and mid hasn't even been that great. It's really on the shoulders of Arteezy and the Batrider. I think solely because of the Batrider, honestly. Not even so much TA, but I just think Bat's so good in late game. In fact, Bat's good at any point of the game, which is why he's banned almost all the time. That's why I was so surprised at the beginning of the draft. They actually got both Bat and Panda. So I think EG's did a little bit better just because of the Bat, but that's not to say that that RoX.KIS can't contend in the late game. They definitely can. Like, Weaver's a beast in the late game. So is Potom, who, speaking of it, which is just pumping auto attacks into Zai. Look at the damage!
Yes, Arteezy showing up and bailing his buddy out.
Less than 2 seconds.
And Sidoi's going to spot him, though. Zai has a TP, has to blink, and needs to get out right now. And, yeah, he's going to go ahead and force staff. And he will be making it home. So big win there. All this while, by the way, Universe is going to be able to find Yol down near the Tier 2 bottom. PPD there with the Ice Path. Macro Pyre just to secure the kill. Disrupts himself to buy some time. Should still end up dead. And, ooh, barely able to survive. There's going to be an overgrowth on Universe just to keep him up and running.
The Urn damage still got him. PPD cast the Urn on him to secure the kill.
Didn't even see him get the Urn charge off. Regardless, they get the kill. They're going to, wow, that was kind of a weird glyph. Don't think that was the time to do it. But keeping the pressure up. And EG, I feel like, is doing a much better job now at this stage of the game of spreading the map compared to what they were doing earlier.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think the damage output from Arteezy is just insane. He actually only has 1 damage item too, like this Deso. Imagine what happens when he gets like a Daedalus and a Manta. And I know Manta's not really a damage item, but it helps him. It helps increase his movement speed and everything like that.
Yep.
Like when he gets Daedalus, it's gonna be, oh my god, he's gonna be like one-shotting supports. He really is. Even one-shotting solo on that Skywrath.
He's obviously atop the net worth board. He's 5K ahead of that Weaver, by the way. Oh, the arrow. Little late. Arteezy makes it away by the absolute whiskers of his face. Take a look at the GPM. He's actually 130, give or take, GPM on top of the Weaver right now. So his gold income is just massive. And, of course, that's a big fueling element to the gold lead that EG has amassed. Now they're going to try to engage on. There's going to be the lasso on the gold black. He's going to be blown up before the lasso even expires. There's a clap that does nothing, but Mystic Flare whiffs again.
Look how fast he is.
Yeah, did nothing.
Oh, my God. The Eth Blade actually almost killed him.
There's a swap. Zai swapping Yol back. Disruption is there. And Mason comes back in. There's going to be, yes, the split. And they are just absolutely doing work now. Following it up, tossing Mirana into the air. Solo has to make a pure run for it. Solo will come back down to ground here in a minute. In the meantime, they did get the Aegis as well. And, yep, he's going to try to make a run. They don't have any detection, so he should be safe. Behind that, though, BZZ using the leap, doing the best he can. Side traps are good, though. Mason hits him with the clap, couple of crits, and one last magic missile. Makes it another big win. That's going to be a Daedalus done in toto by Arteezy. And he is going to be absolutely crushing anyone he can get his hands on.
Yep, that Daedalus, it's... Oh, man. I just don't... I think they're kind of running out of steam here.
Yep, again.
Like, they just don't have... Like, whereas Arteezy's progressing with items massively at a very, very high rate because of the Midas and just his flash farming abilities with the side blades, Weaver's just not catching
Disruption.
up.
There's going to be a lasso as well. They're going to be pulling back Yol. They managed to bring him down. Mystic Flare once again whiffs. Mason, though, got swapped by Zai. Mason, no, picked off from behind. Arteezy, in the meantime, doing work. Look at him blow up solo. Manages to make it away with a Ghost Scepter. But he will be pursued and throwing it uphill. One last shot. That's an ultra kill.
Can we see it?
Can we see the Rampage? Arteezy's very low. He's very low, getting very greedy. Rampage! Arteezy puts a cherry on it and gives us a 2-0 victory for EG as they advance through the upper bracket and move one step closer to bringing home the hardware and, of course, the cash here at the D2L Western Challenge Playoffs. What a game, what a series, what a player. Checkboxes or something, I don't know. Seems to be the joke of the moment. God, I hate you
Not
so
a player,
much.
a player, such player.
Hate you.
I don't know. That's a pretty bad one.
Just so much.
Today was the Arteezy show, man.
So, yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah, there we go. Conrad, easy, so easy, too easy for Arteezy.
It really was, man. Like, today, Arteezy just brought his A game.
No joke.
Arteezy show.
37 minutes, 1 second, the time it took. And it ends up being a 2-0 whitewash as EG advances past ex-RoX.KIS. And yeah, I mean, when you look across the board for Rox, Solo started out strong, but by the time things got going, he just petered out. And that's kind of the bugaboo for a Skywrath Mage. Is you can't get ahead of him. He is squishy. He was starting to tank up towards the end. He did have the Ghost Scepter and was on his way to a Bloodstone, actually. And had the Soul Booster done out of all of that. But 6, 5, and 8 for him. 1, 6, and 13 for old BZZ. Not the best performance we've seen out of him. On the other side of EG, Universe had a standout day. 8, 2, and 10 on the Bat Rider. 11, and 5 on Arteezy. And yeah, I guess every time I see Midas TA, I just have this feeling in the pit of my stomach. It's like, man, you're going to come online too late. You're going to come online too late.
Yeah.
And then you come online and you one-shot everything.
I think that too, but every single time I see it, it always works. Like, I don't know why. It just, Midas seems to work so well on TA. And like I said 1,000 times, Arteezy just knows that hero. Like, that's what he's known for in NA Dota, at least early on. He just plays it so well. And you see the damage output is just freaking ridiculous, man. But Mirana just couldn't keep up. Like, even Weaver just couldn't keep up with the farm. Her item progression both of them just stopped. Like, there came a time where it just stopped because they had to stop farming. They had to contest the constant split push, honestly, of Zai. Like, he was up top forever.
Oh, yeah.
Just constantly pushing that lane. It felt like he was kind of doing his own thing for a long time, but it forced some rotations out of ex-RoX.KIS, and they weren't able to farm as fast as Arteezy because of that, and they didn't have Midases. Except for Godblack, by the way. I mean, it ended up paying up for a little bit. He was 2-1 and 3 at one point, but then he died 4 times. Went 0-4 and 0 since then. Just wasn't able to get anything after the mech. So in that sense, I guess it didn't pay for itself. It was starting to, but then they started to fall apart. I just think today, in general, it was just like Arteezy just carried. Like, he played really well.
Well, I think everyone did. I mean, the Mason was a little weak on the brew, I think, in this game. Didn't feel a whole lot of influence from him early, but he did get it online late and really began to get things together. Saw a couple of missteps here and there, but for the most part, I would say, if not a banner day for EG, certainly a consistent one and a good one as they advance 2-0. And Fnatic. Earlier today, the Fnatic Na'Vi series. Fantastic and a lot of fun to watch. But hope you guys have enjoyed the show as much as we have. I'm AC and that's Tralf, and this has been our Day 2 coverage of the D2L Western Challenge Playoffs. We'll be back tomorrow and every day leading up to Tuesday. Tuesday will be our best of 5 finals. It'll be 2 best of 3s every single day, all through the weekend, all in the next week. So make sure you tune in every day at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That'll be noon Eastern Standard Time, and of course 6 p.m. for our European brothers and sisters. You can find me on Twitter as you can, Tralf. I'm at AC, at AYESTE. He's at Tralf Dota, TRALFDOTA, so make sure you check that out. We are, again, if you're wondering what's going on, we're not having a rave back here. This is the HyperX. I guess, I don't even know, like, have they even told us, like, what the official title is? Like, you call it, like, the Esports Center or, like...
This room?
Yeah.
Well, I know in the science it's called the Beast Room.
Yeah, this is called the Beast Conference Room, technically.
Yeah.
But, yeah, doing all of our broadcasting from here, HyperX, our lead sponsor, and really wanting to show off the amazing facility they've built here, which has been used by teams like EG, who just got that win, and they boot camped.
They got it because of this room.
That's what we're saying.
That's why.
So we are literally saying that. That is 100% true and provable, I promise.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I think we're about done. Last thoughts on the day, man?
Just just well played by everybody. If you didn't see the series of, especially Navi and Fnatic, I think that was a lot of fun to watch.
Man.
Whenever it goes to 3 games, I think it just shows that the teams are, pretty close in skill and just in strategy and everything like that. And then just well played by all the members of EG. And I still think that RoX.KIS, despite them not having the sponsor under them, are actually playing and surprising a lot of people, especially me.
Very much agreed.
So I still give my hat off to them, as they still have a lot to go, or a lot of room to improve during the rest of this tournament. So yeah.
They'll find a team. They'll find something. Hope you guys find us tomorrow. Again, we're back at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern, and 6 p.m. 1800 Europe. So hope to see you then. On behalf of myself, Trout, Conrad, who's pulling the switches, and everyone here at the D2L and at HyperX, thanks so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take it easy.